better on 1010XL.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad to have y'all back. We're back. This is the Amateur's Edge, and we're having a good conversation today. And we got a great show lined up for you today because we have a local celebrity that's going to be on with us, and we're going to have a good conversation with Justin Barney from Channel 4 News. So I'm pretty excited about having him on. But we're talking about what's going on in sports.
All right, go ahead, bro. We talking about this running back situation. That's what I want to talk about. You know, Justin's going to come on in a minute. He has an event at the Jaguar Stadium that he has. But we're going to talk about this running back situation, man. These running backs not getting paid. Jay, what you think about it?
I think it's a it's a difficult situation, and you know, you can look at it two ways. One, you know, those guys are a very integral part of the offenses, and you know, they take a tremendous amount of beating over the years. You know, and you hate for them to get to a point when it's time to get paid that they don't get paid. And, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, I hate straddling the fence, but I can see both sides of it, right? Like, if I'm an owner and I know I can get a good running back in the 6th or 7th round and pay him $800,000 versus having to pay Saquon Barkley $11 million, at the end of the day, you know, it's a business decision, and most businesses come down to the bottom line. Yeah, so if I could save $7 million, that's what I'm gonna do as a business owner. And I just don't know how much leverage those guys have in this.
Man, and while we wait on the line, let's have some callers call in. It's 904-641-1010. I think the running back position is a dime a dozen position, meaning like I think parents should really think hard when they train their kids to be running backs from a young age. I just think it's a dime a dozen position.
Yeah, and like I said, it's extremely hard to justify paying them. You know, it's very hard. So I mean, as a person who runs a business and understands business is about the bottom line, I have to side with the owners on this one and say, you know, I'm gonna save money. I'm gonna save money.
I'm glad you brought up Saquon Barkley because I think he's such a pivotal running back with what's going on right now. When he was at Penn State, they ran him into the ground. They had one of the worst O-lines. He just had mileage upon mileage on those legs. Goes to the New York Giants, same exact situation. O-line, terrible. Guy has a great rookie year. Rest of his career kind of goes sideways. Has a great year last year, wants to get paid. It totally makes sense.
I understand.
And now everybody's asking, what can the NFL or what can we do with the running backs? And what I think we're starting to see in the last few years is a lot of these colleges are getting two top-tier running backs, and they're saving the mileage. And they're both going at it. Penn State right now, Katron Allen, and I'm blanking on the other name, but they both, true freshmen, Nicholas Singleton, won Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year.
Yeah,
and what they're doing is just going to save their legs and then save these guys for the NFL so they don't just get burnt out so fast and they get paid. That's my take on it. That's how they should resolve this.
Yeah, I understand. But you even, to your point, like the Alabama running backs, like they get beat up, man. They get beat up so bad, and by the time they get to the NFL, it's hard for them to take over. Derrick Henry's been an exception. Mark Ingram's been an exception, but you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, again, when you talk business and bottom line, you know, I have to side with the owners on this one. But we have a call on the line.
How you doing, caller?
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing, Coach Bradley?
Pretty good. I just wanted to make a comment about the running backs. I'm a diehard Viking fan, and I almost lost my mind when we got rid of Dalvin Cook. He was the epitome of our offense.
Yep.
And with every NFL offense, the running game is the second most important thing. So I don't understand what you're saying about the owners with the business decision, but the running game is, if you don't have a running game, you don't have nothing on offense.
No, that's understood. And I'm not even arguing that, but what I'm saying is you can get you a quality running back in the 3rd round, 4th round. I'm paying him $2 or $3 million a year versus Well, Dalvin's up for a max contract, right? Dalvin should be able to make just as much as Saquon. Saquon just signed for 11.
Right.
So Dalvin's going to be asking you for $11 million, $12 million. So again, I'm not arguing that point at all. I just think, from an economical standpoint, $11 million versus $2 million. I'm a business owner. It's all about protecting the bottom line. I'm going with the $2 million.
And plus, look at trends, y'all. Look at trend. Go ahead, sir.
I agree, but let's say the quarterback position. That's the most important position, right?
Yes.
The quarterback can't function good in the offense without a running game.
100%. You're right.
Go ask Josh Allen.
I got you, fella.
Yeah.
But check this out.
Yeah.
Out of the last 5 NFL championship teams, it's a copycat league. I'm going to name the teams, right? I want y'all to name me one of the running backs on the team. So you got the Kansas City Chiefs, you got the Los Angeles Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City, and New England Patriots. Can y'all name me a running back that was on the team?
Okay, all I know is what's the guy from
Leonard Fournette was with Tampa.
Yeah, we know that. We know that because we Jacksonville.
Cam Akers is the running back with the Rams.
Exactly.
We know that. Yeah, I know, but it's a pass first.
No, and I agree with you, Coach Bradley, about the quarterback needing the running back. I mean, look at Tennessee. Right. Tannehill would not have gotten that check if it was not for Derrick Henry. Even looking at New York.
And let's say the playoff run. The playoff run, that's when the running game is most important.
Because of the weather.
Especially when you're in those northern division, those cold games. You need that running game, man. You need that running back. And some of these
playoff
running back values should go up, I think.
100%. Again, that's agreed. But at the end of the day, I can still go get me a quality running back.
I just think the mileage just went down. So now, cats are not even getting to the first check before they're not getting a big deal. That's right. I'm going to tell you what you do then. You leave college as soon as possible.
Right.
To stay young. To stay young.
But you got to do 3 years in college, though. So there's no getting around that. That's the law.
I know, but some stay for that the next year because they didn't do that good. But whether you do good or not, you leave early as you can to try to get to that next check and still be young.
That's kind of the remedy, but not really because you still don't got 3 years of mileage on your body. Like I told you, those Bama running backs, by the time they get to the league, they beat up.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, okay. Go ahead, sir.
I love what you guys are doing, and you guys are you're up on your stuff, and I appreciate you guys. I listen to you guys every Saturday morning, so I'm going to go ahead and get off the line and let you guys continue. But thank you for everything you guys are doing for our community.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that.
All right.
We got another caller. Joe Cab, how you doing today, my man?
Oh, I'm doing it yourself.
Doing good, man. Doing good. What you got on your mind today?
Yeah, now, the question about running back. I'm saying the teams you name, you got what you consider gold jacket quarterback that you name. And if your team ain't set up that way, then you still have to find another way to get to the playoffs or get to the like you said, at the end, to the Super Bowl. Everybody want to win a Super Bowl. So every team, we go with this copycat. We're not going to find the same player. We're not going to find a Tom Brady for our team. We're not going to find Patrick, my homeboy, and as we go on. But you build a team to your strength. And right now I see the Giants won't be the Giants without Saquon Barkley. Minnesota won't be Minnesota without Cook. You know what I'm saying? We go on every time we hear this. We always hear a dynamic quarterback. That they got a dynamic quarterback. We're gonna go get a dynamic quarterback. We don't need a running back. But all this stuff go hand in hand to me. Now I heard the other day a person brought up for the running backs would be give them 2-year contracts, and maybe that was the plan. You know what I mean? But everybody, we'll go, I'll switch it. Go to state. Now everybody looking for a small shooting guard what is
Steph.
it?
Like Steph?
Steph. And then we get caught up in the chasing that, and hey, we don't need this. We're going to get us a cheap running back. However it go, but you got to have the right, what do they call it? Skill set play. I mean, not the skill set, but player that's that can change the game or whatever we like to say.
Generational talent.
But until the talent. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have that quarterback, then you're going to need that offensive line, that running back. You're going to need that defense, the whole players in the phone booth game. So it's right now that's the conversation. Why the running back? But I feel like eventually when we get to that crunch time, I remember back when Houston had us Watson, and they had a lead on Kansas City. Then they didn't have a running back; they couldn't hold the lead. So let's not think for a minute we don't need them or we don't want them. It's just let's probably give them 2-year contracts, and maybe that might change how we look at it.
Now, I agree with that. I think I almost feel like, if, as a running back, if you do have a phenomenal season, you almost have to hold out, right? Because if you try to play that contract out, and again, you put those miles on you, you use at that point.
You're talking about Josh Jacobs, clearly.
Yeah, all day long.
Right.
All day long,
Monster
but the fact
Josh
still.
Jacobs played for Indianapolis.
No, he played for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Where's he at now?
He's still with the Raiders.
Oh, is he holding
But
out?
he's holding out.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's holding out.
holding out.
He was huge year last year.
We can go back. We can go back with the game in the playoff last year when the Jaguars had the Chargers up. If they had somewhat of a running game, that game over with. They couldn't run the ball, so we could come back on them.
Yeah.
So a running back is very needed.
No, for
And if
sure.
you gotta-
Austin Eckler's is a top 3 running back in the league, but I understand what you're saying though.
Yeah, but like I said, there's no denying how important that running back position is. So that's not even a argument. The fact of the matter is, I hate to say it, they're a dime a dozen
It's the easiest replacement.
unless you are a generational talent.
It's the easiest replacement.
You're just talking like purely financial, right, Jay?
I'm talking purely
It's the
financial.
easiest replacement.
You're just talking about you're running a team and you say the one position you can kind of cut a little ties with on some money is running back
All day
because
long
of their shelf life, right?
because of the shelf life.
What is their shelf? I think it's 4 to 5 years.
I don't even think it's that.
I don't think it's that.
LaDainian Tomlinson's one that comes to mind. I remember just watching kind of come to such a historic running back and then just fall to the wayside so fast. And he's the first one that comes to mind when I think about this whole running back situation.
I don't know. LaDainian did it for about 10 years.
Yeah, but when he went to the Jets, I mean, it wasn't
all about
LT. Yeah, exactly.
What's it?
Yeah, I forgot all about
Exactly. Exactly. Like he pulled a Brett Favre. But I don't know. I mean, I like the point of what he was saying. You want to pay a running back because when you need to shed the rest of that clock and win the game, who do you want to trust? Dalvin Cook or Tank Bigsby? I don't know. That's the only name that just came to mind. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking they have to get paid something.
So
they do.
I just think
fellas,
it's blown out of proportion.
So Jonathan Taylor's the next one on the clock. How y'all think he gonna fare? He's the next one on the clock as far as the next one to get paid. He's been doing a great job at the Colts.
Yeah.
But you think they do the same thing to him?
I think he doesn't get like max dollars. I think he gets, $6-7 million a year or what have you. I don't think he's as dynamic of a player as Saquon, even though he's been doing it longer and has been healthier.
Healthier is a big word.
Yeah,
and
healthier.
nobody wants to talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be healthy.
For sure. And so, the hard part, again, is the fact that he has been a cornerstone for those guys for a good bit of time. But when I got to make financial decisions and, unless, again, you're just this game-changing type player, I got to go with what makes more financial sense, and I got to pay my D linemen and those other type of positions that last for a very long, long time. So we got a call on the line.
Yep, Charles, how we doing today?
Great
Sure.
show. I just want to say it seems like the Jaguars here are kind of maybe a little bit of trendsetters with the running back situation because, now we got a 4-man room that looks pretty good, and it doesn't seem like any one of them is going to be the workhorse. I mean, I think they're going to balance the load a little bit more this year to give Travis a break.
I want Travis to touch the ball more, to be honest. I want him to get the
100%.
ball in the open field, some swing
Well,
passes.
that's what I mean. I want him catch out there catching it. You know?
Yeah. Line him, put him in the slot. He's a dynamic player. We haven't had a dynamic player from the offensive side of the ball since Maurice Jones-Drew.
That's right.
That's a long
I remember
time.
the whole stadium used to go, Drew.
We have it, and I think that's the missing piece, man. And shoot, y'all seen you seen those routes Calvin Ridley was running? Mm-hmm. My goodness,
He look fast.
He looks explosive, ridiculously explosive. So you open up the field, like you can't really stack the box now because you got him on one side, Christian Kirk, Zay, then you got Ingram,
Calvin Ridley.
It should open up. It should open up the field for A.T. to have a great year this year.
Jags used to do it with Mojo and Fred Taylor. I mean, you're thinking about trend centers. They were doing that back in the day with both of them, splitting carries and doing damage.
Oh, and Jimmy, and let's not forget Jimmy Littleman.
Yeah.
Stewart.
James Stewart. He used to tote that thing. But he did have Jimmy and Keenan on both sides, too, that opened that field up.
Well, I appreciate y'all letting me contribute this morning, man.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Larry.
Hello, this is Larry from Northside, Jacksonville.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I personally think the running backs gets no respect, and they using them, and like I think I saw Doug Henry on Sports Center saying that pretty much they need to come together, and it's almost like they got to stand together because they're getting shafted, man. They're getting shafted. I mean, if you have a full-rounded team, everybody ain't going to have a superstar quarterback. You're going to need a quarterback and you need a whole team to win. A lot of times there's been some Super Bowls that they wouldn't have won without the running backs, man. We in a quarterback, they get all the money, and half of them ain't. It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
They getting all that money, and if Trevor don't do his thing this year, you know how Jacksonville fans is. They'll be with you 1 second, and they'll throw you under the bus, man. Watch it. Just watch it. I hope we have a great team, but I don't want no 2018 all over again.
No, I got you. Well, thanks for contributing today, man. And again, I think, I just want to reiterate the point. I don't think anybody's devaluing the running back position. It's more so, again, they're a dime a dozen, and you can pick up a running back late in the draft, before you spend millions and millions of dollars on a running back.
Let me say this real quick before
we go to break.
Before we go to break. I'm going to give everybody a perfect example. It's like deciding between paying your JEA bill and paying your Fire Stick bill. You need them both, but if your JEA ain't working, who cares about the Fire Stick?
The Fire Stick ain't gonna come on.
It ain't gonna come on. Yeah, the value.
Let's play some bills. Let's play some bills, gentlemen. This segment was brought to you by Premier Physical Therapy. Your wellness journey begins at Premier Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. The gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit premierptjax.com today for the Premier experience. You're listening to The Amateur's Edge on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hun, the drain really smells.
Yeah, wow, it does.
I think it's getting backed up. What should we do? Did you just quack like a duck?
Yes, I did. Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Need help with a plumbing issue at your home or business? Just call the Duck.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Grilling up lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose.
Join me, Leon Searcy, on XL Primetime, weekdays for Lunch with Leon.
On 1010XL.
I downblock with all my funk.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who
can you count on Catlin?
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Oh boy, not again.
Do you feel this way every time there's rain in the forecast? Amy Salt, owner of CrossFit Salt to Tear in the Riverside area, definitely did.
I had major rain anxiety from all the water collecting outside my gym. That's why I'm so happy I reached out to Clearwater Drainage. John came out, designed a system that moved the water off of my property, and all my kettlebells are now dry. I'm sleeping so much better at night.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
I'm Justin Norndorf, creator of DVS, a medically backed pitching development program designed to develop young throwers' arms safely. We are excited to be launching our Florida Development Center at B3 Better in Jacksonville. To celebrate DVS, we are offering a free virtual coaches clinic and also giving away 20 free team DVS and athletic assessments at B3 Better. To register for the clinic and your team's chance to win, go to b3better.com/DVS and secure your spot today.
First Coast Cargo is one of the region's leading asset-based logistics and transportation providers. First Coast Cargo has the area's largest fleet, provides final mile services in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia for Fortune 500 companies such as Amazon, Walmart, and Lowe's, as well as specialized or white glove services for FedEx, UPS, and other national logistics companies. First Coast Cargo, headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, with its extensive experience and dedication to exceeding customer expectations, provides transportation, warehousing, logistics, and 3PL services to customers nationwide. Manufacturers, distributors, and purchasing agents know they can depend and rely on First Coast Cargo to be at their side 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit First Coast Cargo at firstcoastcargo.com or call with your transportation or logistics needs at 328-5700.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. It's the Amateur's Edge, brought to you by B3 Better on 1010XL.
And we're back. We've been having a heated discussion this morning, and man, we appreciate all the callers calling in. And you know, we're gonna kick this thing into the next gear. We have an amazing guy on the line getting ready to come on. We're gonna talk with Justin Barney. He's a former sports editor for the Florida Times-Union, and now he is with Channel 4 News. Justin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me, guys. I was a little late today. Jaguars training camp, and it's a hot one out there. Got a chance to talk to Shaquille Quarterman today and see Calvin Ridley in action. And Jaguars, on paper, looking like they're going to be a really good team. Pick up where they left off. Add that Calvin Ridley dimension, so it's going to be an exciting time for Jaguars fans this year.
Is it Super Bowl a bust for us?
I don't know if Super Bowl, but still got to get past Joey Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. So I think a next step in the progression would be AFC Championship game for sure.
Okay.
Hey, Justin, I just want to tell you personally, from my family to you, we appreciate everything you have done for us. You know, every time we called on you and told you about something we had going on, you made sure somebody stopped by there, if you wasn't there yourself. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Always good dealing with you, Randy. Always good dealing with the Wade family and Sean and everybody, seeing the family success. Sean was such a good athlete to cover and really a good human being, too. You can tell he was raised by a good family, and good to see him starring in the NFL and getting a chance to up there in New England. So always a pleasure, Randy.
Appreciate it. A good mother.
Yeah, the tight pants bandit. They don't call me good. They don't call me good.
Come on, man.
Well, tell them Snoop. But anyway, so the thing I wanted to ask you, because we got a lot of big questions to ask you, so we're gonna condense it. How did you get to this spot, being a person that is from Jacksonville, went to University Christian, and you seem like you had a dream job. You followed sports like your whole career. How did this happen?
You know, I started when I was just sitting in front of the TV when I was 4 and 5 years old and writing game stories off of baseball games off TV. And I knew from that age I always wanted to be a writer and wanted to grow up. And the older you got, you saw your kids you played sports with in junior high, which was junior high back in the day, not middle school. And you see them doing things and going into high school and see their names in the paper and the box scores and succeeding. So I thought it was really cool to have people I know and see their names in the paper and I kind of combined my love of sports and just loved covering local sports more than national sports. So it's very blessed to do what I do and cover and tell stories of a lot of local people. And you see, a Sean Wade, and then you got Luttrell, and you've seen these generations of kids come through. You covered their parents, now you're covering their kids, and you've seen NFL kids, coming up in Pop Warner and go to high school, go to college, NFL, and retire. And it's just been a crazy cycle and how fast it all goes, and definitely been very blessed to have my career continue here.
So I got one more quick question. So I just wanted, you got a lot of people on the internet that want to do what you do. They want to do what you do, and they actually do it on Facebook and stuff like that. What advice would you give them to take to the next level? I don't want to get it that way.
Yeah, you got to stick with what you do. We have interns who want to do that, and, come and do internships and kind of see things from a different angle, Jaguars or high school or college. And there's for every person, for every one person that wants to do it, there are probably 500 others that want to do it as well. So you gotta stand out. You got to find a way to kind of make yourself creative, and don't say no to the little jobs or the inferior jobs, which you think. And you kind of just soak it all up and do everything you can. No job is too menial or underserved. And I don't know how many nights I spent at the Times Union just typing in high school box scores or statistics or something, really thankless kind of stuff. But those things still need to get done. And whether you're just starting out or kind of making a shift in mid-career, I definitely think that hard work, it's such a cliche, but hard work really does pay off in this field as well.
So, Justin, over the years, quick question. What, if any, changes have you observed in the city's social and cultural landscape from a sports perspective?
Yeah, I think that just with so many schools now, I mean, you look at, 20 years ago, how many, just the growth of schools in the area. And I think, there's more of an appreciation, I think, for inner city kids and student athletes and what they've overcome and accomplished. I think there's so much more of a recognition of that. And I know just for me, having heard and seen some of the stories from kids at Rains and Rebolts and Jackson and those stories over the years, you just have so much more of an appreciation for what these athletes and their families have gone through to get to the point they are. And I think for me, it's been more of just the recognition of the challenges that you see these kids on Friday nights or Saturdays and at games and stuff, but you don't understand what they go through every other hour of that week. And hearing stories, at Rains specifically a few years ago from athletes, what they were enduring away from the football field, it just gives you such an appreciation for how some of these athletes, male and female, have managed to succeed and get out of that environment and, just the challenges beyond the athletic field. And that's just so remarkable to me. And I just think there's so much more of an appreciation and a recognition of those circumstances now for certain athletes in the city over even, the last 10, 15, 20 years.
It's interesting you bring up like the inner city, and we've discussed this topic a time or two on this on the show. What do you think attributes to the lack of state championships from our public school system? Like, we have kids every year, 10 on average. The past 5 or 6 years, we've had 10 on average. 10 kids get picked up in the NFL, whether it's drafted or undrafted free agent. There's no denying the talent that comes out of this First Coast area. However, we have Rains, who has, 3 state championships total, Mandarin. But no other public school in Jacksonville has a state championship. What do you think that attributes to that?
Yeah, it's remarkable. And even if you stretch that out even further, there's not a lot of public schools in our area that have football state championships. You mentioned Rains with 3. They won back-to-back titles under Duran Wiley, which was a remarkable achievement. And Mandarin, which rode the hot arm of Carson Beck and Demario Douglas, who's now up in the league playing. And you got that hot streak going. I mean, they were a 6-4 team or a 5-5 team when they entered the postseason that year and got hot at the right time and ended up going 10-5 and winning the state championship. But you don't see that too often, and I think a reason for that is you got to go up against those Miami-type schools. And, for Rains, they had to scale the beast. It wasn't, they couldn't get past Booker T. Washington, but they ended up getting past Cocoa. And I think a lot of the, these metro area public schools have to play these monsters from down south, and I think that is tough. I mean, you know about Miami football, the Dade County and Broward. If you're from Florida, you know how just prolific that area is, and that's not just in 4A. That's 5A, 6A, 7A. I mean, these powerhouses down there, and they've got just a system down there. And yeah, you look at Jacksonville as a whole, and absolutely should have more state championships. When you look at guys like Frankie Franklin, who's come through here, it's remarkable. Running back, I mean, the Ed White monster teams that they had with Casey Turner and Jamal Fudge and Brady Turpin, Vanez Goose, all these guys. D. Webb, I mean, just the list goes on and on. You think of how many good athletes have played here that didn't end their careers with the state championships, and it's just remarkable. But I think that's largely due to the competition. I mean, you're playing a Miami team or a Central Florida team that has a better team, just overall team than the ones we've had in Duval or St. John's, or even going out further than that, Putnam County. There's not a lot of success in that public school level.
So, Justin, my thought process is this Gateway Conference. So, in basketball, they do a tournament at the end of the season before the playoffs. I don't know if that necessarily gets everybody ready for the playoffs. And also, in public school football, a lot of teams are not able to go down and play some of these teams out of Miami to get ready for the playoffs. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's true, and that's a good point. And that issue has been brought up and kicked around for 20 years. And having locked-in games where you have to play and fulfill that commitment is tough. And that even expands to some districts too. And now with the playoff systems having changed, that's not as important. You're able to kind of structure your schedule a certain way. And district games are important in a sense, but you can still make the playoffs without a district. But yeah, you would have great teams playing in horrible districts, and that certainly didn't prepare you for the playoffs. And to your point about the Gateway Conference, you probably have 5 or 6 teams in there every year that are capable of making a run, or capable of putting up a good season in the postseason. But then you've got to play these. No disrespect to some of the other Gateway Conference schools who may not be on the Reigns type of level, Mandarin type of level, Fletcher type of level. But when you're having to play the teams that aren't quite ready there, I don't think it benefits anybody. But again, the Gateway Conference is what it is. You're locked into playing a finite number of games conference-wise, and I do think it hurts teams long-term when you could replace some of those not as strong Gateway teams with some teams from out of the area, certainly.
Gotcha. So we're going to put you on the hot seat here a little bit. Who is the best passer you've seen come out the First Coast area?
The best athlete out of the First Coast area?
Quarterback, passer.
Oh, best passer out of the First Coast area, man. Tebow was such a good player, but he did more than pass, and he's a little bit St. Johns County. Not sure if that counts, but he was such a good thrower.
That's First Coast.
Carson Beck was so good. DeAndre Johnson was unbelievable, and John Walford too. I thought was just an unbelievable athlete. I would say that compilation of guys, and if I'm picking just a passer, man, I would say DeAndre or John Walford, just in terms of pure passers. And I didn't cover back in the days when like Alan Hall was at Middleburg in the late 80s, early 90s. He was an exceptional quarterback. But I would say in my time frame covering about 25 years, I would say a DeAndre or a John Walford was just, in terms of strictly passing, was just about as good of a passer as there's been coming out of this area.
So what about receiver? Who's the best receiver you see come out?
Oh, man, you've got Javon Bell at Ribault, who was fantastic.
Beast.
You got, Sean Wade at Trinity was tough to pigeonhole him into one, but we did an all-25 team of the past 25 years a couple years ago, and Sean was on that. Just a remarkable two-way star. Isaiah Ford was another one, an exceptional athlete. A couple guys at St. Augustine, Marquise Merrill was very good. At Ahmad Fullwood had just a monster junior year. Wasn't as effective as a senior, but man, Ahmad, he put his junior year on paper, and I think that year stands the test of time, and just how good that season was. That not entire career, because I think his senior year teams keyed on him a little bit more, and Chuck Wade became a little bit more of a factor for Bishop Kenny. But man, Ahmad Fullwood's junior season, I think it's tough to match what you saw from him that year. Just out of this world performance with John Walford throwing him the ball.
Basketball player. Who's the best basketball? We have 2 minutes.
It's a big one.
Oh man, this is a tough one.
In high school,
I never saw Myron Anthony play, but he was from what I heard, phenomenal. James Collins, I was in school at the same time as him, and I saw him play. I didn't cover him professionally, but James Collins is the best player I've seen with my own eyes. Not in the professional. I didn't see him when I was in this field, but James Collins to me is the best player I've seen come out of this area. And you got guys, Debo Coleman, Grayson Howard, Will Holloman, Chet Stakaitis, guys like that who are certainly in that conversation. But to me, I think James Collins was the top kid that I've seen in the last 30 years out of here.
That's huge. That's huge. So what are some of your most memorable stories in covering sports in this city?
Man, you got Derrick Henry. Unbelievable career he's had. Tim Tebow, 2 Heisman winners from our area. That's been a remarkable story. You look at a story even like in Arlington Country Day, what they accomplished, even under kind of a shadow of suspicion, clouds of just accusations and trouble with them over the years in the FHSAA. That was remarkable. They still won 5 straight state championships, the FHSAA state championships, and ultimately ended up getting shut down. But Javier Baez, baseball player, played there. All the Barry Jordans and DeJuan Yeomans, all those guys at ACD. That was just a remarkable story there. And I think one story that's still playing out is just how little high school football coaches make, how little that other coaches in this high school realm make.
In Florida.
It's a shame. It's just a shame that the coaches, the men and women who coach the athletes in our area, I think that is just a story that has not played itself out and resolved itself yet. These coaches deserve a lot more money than they're getting paid. Talked to Toby Bullock the other day, and he said it works out to about 10 cents an hour is what high school coaches in Duval County get paid.
Wow, that's rough.
We got to have you back, Justin. We got to have you back. And we thank you. We know you're a busy man, and we appreciate you.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, this was a wonderful segment. We have fun, and so make sure that you tune in next week for the Amateur's Edge. We'll be back here doing what we do, empowering the amateur athlete. So you've been listening to the Amateur's Edge on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. See you next time.